Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be discussing the science fiction film Confinement. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. Imagine a gamer's ultimate fantasy, unrestricted gaming for countless hours. Now picture a terrifying scenario where the government turns this dream into a punishment. In this grim reality, the remaining population of Earth is compelled to play non-stop for 9 years, confined to their computer chairs without respite. In a far-off future, Earth suffers the devastating aftermath of chemical warfare, leading to the disappearance of most of the population. The survivors are a lucky few who manage to secure spots in safe bunkers. The only common thread connecting these remaining inhabitants is the computer within their residences. Among them is Darwin, one of the lucky ones. Each morning, he anxiously checks his mother's status on the computer, only to receive the recurring message that she is still asleep. The man's existence revolves around a chair, with rare instances where he musters the effort to rise for a quick ultrasound shower. The majority of his time is spent in front of the computer, remotely engaged in extracting minerals from the Earth's surface, crucial for constructing advanced bunkers. During his brief respite, Darwin selects his lunch, which arrives via a special window facilitated by the computer. As he waits, a news broadcast serves as a reminder that the Earth's surface remains perilous, strictly forbidding anyone from leaving the bunker. The prisoner's sole source of amusement comes from computer games, which he can indulge in for a few hours before bedtime. However, these distractions fail to bring him true happiness. In his recurring dreams, Darwin witnesses his mother abandoning him in the bunker, despite her assurance that he would eventually find a solution. Sadly, that resolution has yet to materialize. Among the repetitive days where nothing seems to change, a surprising event unfolds for Darwin. While operating a tractor, he catches the sound of something familiar. Rotate the camera. He spots a dog being dragged into the bushes nearby. However, the virtual team leader interrupts his thoughts, forcing him to return to work. Later, during a thunderstorm, Darwin awakens to discover that his bunker has lost power, plunging him into darkness. Despite pressing the emergency button repeatedly, Darwin's attempts yield no response. As 2 days pass, his condition worsens significantly. His malfunctioning computer worsens the situation while his oxygen levels continue to decline. With a sharp realization that help is unlikely to arrive, Darwin takes a bold step, donning a respirator and attempting to open the door using the designated button, only to find it unresponsive. The man lifts the door himself, bracing to witness a world devastated by a chemical disaster. Stepping out of the bunker cautiously, he ventures only a short distance before his respirator indicates a decline in pure oxygen levels, forcing him to retreat. To his shock, he realizes the door fails to lock, triggering a sense of panic in the man. Resigned to his fate, the man removes his mask, anticipating his impending demise. However, after a few minutes, he realizes that he can breathe the air without any filtration. Gathering essential belongings from a box, Darwin ventures outside, fueled by the hope of finding his long-lost mother somewhere out there. Each step proves arduous for him, as he hasn't walked more than 3 meters in the past 9 years. Anxious by fear, even the presence of birds startles Darwin. Nonetheless, he persists in moving forward, driven by the desire to transform his life. Reaching a machine, he attempts to signal for help, but his weakened balance foils the operation. Years of immobility have rendered his legs completely powerless, yet he refuses to surrender, pressing on sector by sector. Days pass in this manner, but the intense sun, coupled with the lack of nutrition, reduces his hope. Suddenly, in the distance, the sound of a familiar dog's barking reaches Darwin's ears, rekindling a sparkle of possibility. Renewed by this newfound hope, Darwin perseveres and arrives at the lush green forest, confirming his suspicion that the ground is no longer poisoned. Exhaustion overwhelms him, and he drifts into a deep sleep amidst the woods. As the morning breaks, he awakens to the buzzing clouds of mosquitoes and the persistent barking of the dog, a sound he has always recognized. Alongside the dog, Darwin notices the presence of its owner, a young girl named Dara, who hesitates to approach the unfamiliar stranger. Due to years of silence, Darwin is unable to respond verbally, but he attempts to catch up with the girl, desperately seeking assistance. Noticing his pursuit, the girl activates an alarm, which alerts the rest of the community residing in the camp, composed of others who have escaped the confines of the bunker. A concerned older woman instructs her children to seek refuge while she prepares to welcome the visitor. Reassured by the understanding that he is not their oppressor, the woman acknowledges that Darwin is likely as frightened as they are. Darwin maintains a distance from the group, but accepts the food left for him on the ground. With each passing instance, Lillian, the camp hostess gradually moves the bowl closer to the table, prompting Darwin to draw nearer. Eventually, Lillian shares details about her home with the boy, although Darwin understands her words, but his communication skills are limited to computer interfaces, rendering him unable to respond verbally. Nonetheless, he agrees to spend the night at the camp and gestures for Lillian to bring the mattress outside. Finding comfort among fellow living beings, Darwin assures himself that this temporary pause, and he will continue his search for his mother. Before long, Darwin finds himself seated at a table alongside the others, experiencing the taste of tea for the very first time. Lillian, curious about her guest, requests that he answer her questions. To assist Darwin, Stephen places his hands on top of Darwin's, urging him to mime typing so that his responses can be read. For hours on end, Darwin silently observes this unique form of communication unfold. Dara applies sunscreen to the guy, initially scaring him, but he quickly relaxes and trusts her. He wants to inquire about his mother from Lillian's family, but they have no knowledge of her whereabouts. Dara assures him he can leave if he wishes, but advises him to rest and sleep for now, without any disturbance. Darwin has a distressing nightmare where he seeks his mother, but gets trapped by a brain scanning drone demanding information about the people he has encountered. To calm him down, Dara arrives. In a breakthrough, Darwin takes a proper shower for the first time in years, even though with his clothes still on. Dara instructs him on proper washing techniques and offers assistance, but Lillian believes Darwin can handle it independently. Once he changes back into his regular attire, Darwin appears just like any other person. Dara instructs Darwin on common gestures for responding to simple questions, and he nods in agreement, deciding to extend his stay at the camp. Dara starts spending more time with Darwin, teaching him skills like planting seeds and drawing in the sand, eventually helping him regain the ability to speak. The boy begins assisting Lillian around the house, like setting the table, and she observes a connection forming between him and Dara. The family continues with their daily routine, unaware of the warden's drone hovering nearby. In the afternoon, they enjoy a delightful dance session. Dara begins by teaching Darwin the waltz, and in return, he demonstrates some dance moves he learned from his computer games. While taking a stroll through the woods, Dara shares with Darwin the story of his father, who followed the law by going to the ocean to form a new family and have more children. Darwin settles into life with the family and forms strong connections with Lillian's children. However, Beth, one of the daughters, worries that the government's search for Darwin could endanger their camp and put everyone in danger. Lillian comforts her daughter, yet she acknowledges the risk she's taking by sheltering a fugitive. When Beth expresses her concerns again, Darwin understands that she is indirectly referring to him. Realizing that Lillian and her family are considered criminals due to their association with him, Darwin deduces that their chances of being caught increase because of him. Lillian leads the children on a forest walk, allowing Darwin to witness the river for the first time. He joyfully swims in the untamed water and engages in playful games with the younger ones. Meanwhile, Dara takes Darwin to the mountain's peak, leaving a deep impression on him. During their time together, Dara shares that in the past, fathers were not expected to abandon their families and start new ones on different continents. She expresses her own longing for her loved one to have stayed with her indefinitely. As their conversation nears its end, Dara courageously expresses her love for Darwin, believing their connection to be a result of fate. They share their first kiss as a couple. The family returns to the camp singing, but Stephen becomes alarmed and urges the sisters to be quiet. Despite their efforts, a red handkerchief accidentally drops on the road, catching the attention of a passing drone. Stephen alerts the family about the pursuit, prompting everyone to seek cover behind rocks. Lillian's greatest concern is the safety of her young daughter. Fortunately, the drone passes by without detecting their presence. Back at home, Beth becomes furious and demands that her mother send Darwin away, blaming him for attracting the drones. However, Lillian firmly refuses and asserts that they will all have to remain hidden in the camp for a while, enduring the circumstances together. In the evening, Dara enters her buddy's room and discovers his mattress empty. She finds him in the yard, and he confesses that he has decided to leave to protect his newfound family from danger. The following morning, Lillian and her family bid farewell to the boy, while Dara remains inside. Darwin confides in Lillian, expressing his aspiration to find a home for his mother, similar to the one he experienced with them, and to introduce her to a life beyond the confines of the bunker. Dara finds herself alone in the woods, her heart heavy with tears as she watches her first love walk away. Darwin retraces familiar paths, making his way toward his mother's bunker. Navigating cautiously to avoid detection by the drones, he finally reaches the machine. Using the key provided by Lillian, he contacts his mother, hoping for a connection and a reunion. After the connection request is accepted, Darwin pleads with his mother to trust him and unlock the bunker door without probing too much. Upon reaching the destination, Darwin knocks on the powerful iron door, assuring his mother not to worry about the contaminated air. However, instead of a response, an unsettling silence fills the air as an alarm echoes from inside the bunker. A drone hovers above Darwin, demanding that he confirm his identity and provide an explanation for his whereabouts. Darwin quickly fabricates a theory, claiming that he has been inside his mother's bunker all along. Someone representing the government accepts the story and advises the resident not to venture out of the bunker without notifying them in advance. The boy persists in convincing his mother to open the door, and eventually, the iron barrier lifts. The woman, who has become wild and cautious after years of isolation, gazes warily at her son, whom she last saw 9 years ago. Upon examining his mother's computer, Darwin realizes that she has had no contact with the other residents throughout this entire period. He enters his access code, gaining entry to the archive, where he discovers camera footage documenting his journey to the bunker. As Darwin reviews the footage, he discovers that Lillian's family is also captured on the recordings, indicating that there are no hunters or threats to their safety. Understanding that his mother has no intention of leaving the bunker, Darwin affectionately kisses her on the top of her head and bids her farewell. As he prepares to depart, he realizes that his mother, like thousands of other residents, remains unaware that the government has collapsed. The drone hovers over Darwin once more, but this time he refuses to comply with the warden's commands. The warden, a young resident boy stationed at a computer within the same bunker, attempts to exert control, but Darwin resolutely stands his ground and refuses to obey. The guy makes his way back to Lillian's camp and finds Dara sitting on the edge of a cliff. He joins her, and at that moment, the couple realizes that a new chapter of their lives is about to unfold together. The family embarks on a new journey as they unveil the hidden cottage, shedding the camouflage that once concealed their existence. They gather spruce branches and ignite a magnificent fire, marking the beginning of a joyful celebration. With their fears extinguished, they embrace the freedom of a life without the constant worry of being stalked. Thank you for watching our recap. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and feel free to explore our other recaps.